everyone. This is Amy Poehler. Welcome to another episode of Good Hang. Man, we have a great guest today. I'm very, very excited to tell you that we are talking to Jack Black, who I think is the biggest movie star in the world, and the box office agrees. Jack and I talk about a lot of great things. We're going to talk about his hit movie, his giant Minecraft movie, and all the amazing projects he's done. We harmonize together. We talk about the not so successful movie that we did together. We get into life and love and sleeping and dancing. And as always, it's just the best ride to be with Jack. And he's just the absolute best. And I always start these podcasts by talking to people who know Jack or his work or are fans or colleagues. And we're very excited today to talk to Nora Lum, a.k.a. Aquafina, the great actress and comedian and musician and voiceover artist who has worked with Jack on Kung Fu Panda and Jumanji. So, Nora, thank you for joining us today. Hi, how are you? Woo-hoo-hoo. This episode is presented by the Toyota Grand Highlander. Whether you're welcoming a new family member, starting fresh in a new city, or embarking on ambitious adventures, the Toyota Grand Highlander provides versatility for embracing life's grand challenges. Like how you can effortlessly tuck away the fold-flat rear seats for up to 97.5 cubic feet of cargo space. Perfect if your cargo is baby elephant-sized. From daily routines to life-changing adventures, the Toyota Grand Highlander is up for every grand challenge. Learn more at toyota.com/Grand Highlander. Toyota, let's go places. Very excited to have you, Nora, today. To talk about Jack Black.
Yes.
Before we get to Jack, where are we talking to you? We're talking to you from Los Angeles today?
Yeah. We're in Los Angeles, yeah.
And how are you? What's going on? How's your Thursday?
I'm doing well. Not a lot's going on.
What have you had for breakfast?
I haven't been eating a ton of breakfast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't get hungry until later, but I think that's like a cortisol imbalance.
Mm-hmm.
What did you have?
Well, I had a half of a breakfast burrito.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which, like a cruise burrito? Or?
Yeah, exactly. It kind of feels like I'm at work when I have a breakfast burrito.
Yeah.
Like you're on set. And I had my favorite tea, Barry's tea.
Oh, nice.
Are you a tea or coffee drinker?
Neither. Coffee makes me like go crazy. Coffee will make me go crazy. Yeah.
So no caffeine in the morning and no breakfast?
Yeah. I'm really, really winning over here. So,
what do? You just go like run a 5K? Like what's happening over there?
No, I don't run. I don't run either. I just kind of raw dog it through and then around noon I might have a sandwich or something. I don't know.
No liquid in the morning?
I've had some water. I have a couple sips of a
couple sips?
I had one longer one.
Are you being held against your will? What's going on over there?
Yeah, no,
I'm worried.
I know. Yeah.
I'm worried.
No, I need water, so I'll get that later. Yeah.
Okay, let's get to Jack. So
yeah,
you guys have worked together a lot, and you've done a lot of press together, and you've toured together. Yes. I mean, everybody knows he's the greatest guy, but what makes him the greatest guy? What's so great about Jack?
He's just like really the warmest guy ever, and then with also this like energy of like when we were doing Jumanji, he would like fall asleep and still be singing in his sleep, and he always has a good nature about him. He cracks me up. Yeah, and then we did Kung Fu Panda together.
Yeah, so what was that like?
That was really cool. As I don't know if you know that animated movies, you're not really together, but there was a day that we got to record together, and then when we were doing press, he would do this thing with his legs called chops kicks. You should talk to him about that. That's one thing you should ask him, the leg thing.
Okay, yeah. So tell me what I should ask him about the leg thing. What is it, and how would you explain it?
I think that he would remember if you just said like the thing that what he would do is put his legs akimbo, and then he'd just start kicking with either. But you should ask him, like, you don't know.
And he would do it during press or just behind the scenes?
During press, but he would try to like sneak it in to every interview, and it was pretty aggressive. Sometimes he was really hitting it. He was really hitting the chops kicks.
What else? Anything else that you think I should ask him, like, or that you always wanted to know?
Oh man, like his T-shirt collection.
Wait, tell me about this T-shirt collection.
He's always wearing like a tie-dyed purple T-shirt with like I feel like it's a wolf or something. You should ask him about the T-shirt collection. There's like a purple one. You should ask him about Gallagher too.
Wait, you know who I know who Gallagher 2 is.
Oh,
Do you?
I didn't know that.
It's
He told me
Gallagher's
that.
brother.
I know, but he was smashing watermelons on his behalf, or he like went rogue or something.
Oh my God, I'm going to ask Jack about Gallagher 2 because
Gallagher too. Yeah.
I'm obsessed with that story. There should be, Ryan Murphy should do the story of Gallagher 2.
With Jessica Lange. I think that's
Sarah Paulson will play Gallagher. She's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask him about that. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, Nora, thank you so much for jumping on. You're the best. I hope you can come and do this someday.
Oh my gosh, I would love to. You're the coolest.
You're the coolest.
Have fun with Jack.
I do want you to eat a little something though. It's getting to be, it's like 10:30 and I'm feeling nervous.
Yeah,
just
my
a
babe is
yogurt.
over there waiting. Yeah, I'll have a yogurt or something. Yeah, it'll be nice. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, bye.
Fucking doodle doodle. So I feel like this microphone is telling me exactly where to sit and which direction.
Oh my God, I just had a memory the other day. Do you remember, this is a name droppy, but I'm gonna do it, where we did karaoke together?
Oh yeah. I'm going to drop them if you don't drop them.
Drop them.
Because I believe we were there with Queens of the Stone Age's Josh Homme.
That's right.
And I believe there was an Urge Overkill member there. Am I right? Was there not Nash Cato in the house?
You're absolutely right, because Urge Overkill was a band that was in Chicago when I was in Chicago.
Yes.
And Nash used to be at bars with like Liz Phair and
Oink.
other goinks.
Oh,
yeah. And Smashing Pumpkins.
Dude.
And you just kind of walk in and pretend like order a beer and be cool.
Was Nash Cato constantly smashing pumpkins? You know what I mean. He was known as kind of a love maker. Like everywhere he went, he left a little piece of him.
I don't remember that. I just remember him being at the bar. Never talked to him. And
Let's not gossip about sex.
Let's not.
But let me just say this. Urge Overkill is in my top 5. I love Urge Overkill. And I love me some, who's that incredible, legendary Chicago producer who died recently?
Steve Albini. Little fun fact, Steve Albini recorded and wrote the theme song to Upright Citizens Brigade sketch show.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
He went under the name The Welders. That is how he was credited, but Steve wrote it. And because Steve was a big like sketch comedy fan. Right. And Matt Besser, who was in UCB, was friends with Steve and like loved, like I learned a ton of music from Matt. And in Chicago, it was all like lo-fi, like you said, Urge Overkill and Liz Phair and all this like production that was very cool. And then he produced which Nirvana record?
Yeah.
In Utero.
Yes, with the heart-shaped box.
Yes.
And it was like fraught with drama. There was something where he was rubbing up against, like there was a lot of pressure on him to deliver a big commercial hit machine. And he's like, that's not how I do it.
I do really like all those stories about people in the studio that, you know, especially when the record is like a classic, incredible record, about how tough it was and how everyone was like, we don't have it. Like, I love the when they're like, we don't have it. We didn't do it. And it's like, well, best record of all time.
Yeah. Isn't that the way it always is? Isn't it like the turmoil and the gut-wrenching like stress, and then the beautiful flower grows out of that weird toxic soup?
I don't know, because I have to say, I kind of want to talk to you about this today. We have Jack Black with us. I'm so excited. We just jump right in. But
we didn't even say action. We just started going.
But why I would say that you and I think something we share is that we don't think things have to be terrible. I don't think we like things to be. I don't either.
I don't like toxicity.
Me
I like
neither.
love and I like fun.
Me too. And it doesn't have to feel bad for it to be a good product.
That's true.
Don't you feel like that's a good lesson to learn?
Yes, it is a good lesson, and in theory, I feel that way. But in reality, when it's time to go on the high wire, when it's time to go out and be on camera or in front of an audience, I do always have a little piece of me inside of me that's going, I hope this thing gets canceled at the last second. There's a fire alarm and I don't have to go out there. Because there's always a panic. There's always like a stress. Like, I just did SNL last week. Let me tell you something. It was so fun. Love that little. I've always had like the most incredible experiences, but also the most stressful week going into. You're heading there and you're just mainly going like, God, I hope I don't shit the bed. Just hold it together, man. Don't fuck this up because you don't get another take. You only get that fucking one take.
And do you get I get really sleepy. I'm just like, I think I should go to sleep.
I did take a little nap here and there.
Yeah, I want to escape. When I get really nervous, I get quiet and I get really
Totally.
sleepy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think maybe instead of doing the show, I should go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
I did take a weird nap. And you know who knew I was gonna was Donna.
the best.
This incredible woman. People don't know. Well, she does get a little screen time there.
Tina and I gave her a little shout out on the 50th.
Yes.
With Momoa,
Did
your
you
buddy.
ask her, hey, who is your favorite person you ever helped dress? Because that's Donna's job. She helps the host get dressed and in and out of costumes really fast. And she also does other things too. Like she said, hey, honey, is there anything you want to eat before we go on tonight in the little break between dress rehearsal and the show? And I was like, I have a hankering for like a Italian chap salad with no onions. She's like, you're going to get it. I'm going to get that for you. And it was soothing, but it also had like a little hint of, this is your last meal and I want you to have whatever. It was like, you know what I mean?
Donna Richards, been working there for a really long time at SNL. She also works at Seth Meyers. She has this really specific job. It's like part nurse, part coach, where she kind of grabs you and dresses you from scene to scene, but she has your whole show in her hand.
Yeah.
And she makes sure that you can do it. She's the one that if you passed out or if you forgot something or if you turned to her and said like, I don't remember, Donna would have you. She's your like wrangler.
Yeah.
And she's seen everybody naked.
Yeah.
She's seen every star naked. And she could write a book about your request for the chopped salad.
Yeah.
That's a pretty tame request.
That's tame. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Compared to what she's probably been asked for.
Been asked for pre-show.
Yeah. When you're in the trenches before the show, who knows what you're going to ask for for your last meal or whatever. It's maybe the last time I do some things.
I always say, people always ask me, what was your favorite SNL host and show? And it is always you, Jack Black.
Let me tell you something. I heard that quote and it touched me so hard in my heart. And I thought, Amy is an angel. And I bet you it had something to do with me getting asked back because there was a lot of good vibes you put out there in the universe for me.
No way.
It's been 20 years since I've been on the show.
That's insane.
And it's, that's nothing to sneeze at when Amy Poehler's in your corner blowing the horn in my praises. That's
You
a
don't need
big
my
thing.
praises, sir. It is
I
your
don't think I
billion-dollar
do.
movies. But someone asked me because I was reminiscing about, because that was a very special time for me too. It was like 2000 and
Yup. 3, 4, 5. That was my little window of Saturday Night Live magic.
yes, and we were like just a few years away from the terrible beginning of SNL for me, which was like 9/11. We were a few years away where it was like things had settled down a little bit. Did you have kids yet? Or
No.
yeah, me neither. No kids, so
Yeah.
party on. And then we did so many sketches together. That was such a fun week. The Strokes were the musical
The
guest.
Strokes. The first time, people don't realize I hosted thrice. The first one was the Strokes. The second one was John Mayer.
Yes.
And the third one was Neil Young. That's crazy.
That's right.
But the first one was the Strokes, which was crazy because I love the Strokes.
Me too. And they were so big for people who don't remember, like that soundtrack around New York, 2001, 2002 was
Last
nonstop.
Night, that song.
Incredible song.
It was the theme song for New York City that year.
And then the after party, after was at UCB Theater with that night. I don't know if you remember that, but we were like,
Yeah. We
it was
burned the
like
midnight
after,
oil.
after.
I think we went till the dawn.
We went to the dawn. And then there was a sketch in there that I think about as one of my favorite sketches, which was, I think Kenan Thompson just reposted recently, which was when we're written by Emily Spivey, when we're in the Sbarro and it's wintertime and the door opens and we keep flying away.
The powerful gust of wind that almost blows the whole Sbarros into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
That was a really fun, funny sketch.
That was such a good sketch. Dratch was like an old woman on a wire getting blown away. And I have a moment of remembering like reaching out for her and she looked like Dratch and I could probably be like in the same family.
Yeah.
And she looked like my grandmother with like a white wig and it was like my grandmother going up to heaven.
Yeah. Love Dratch.
How was it this last time? How is it to...
This was a really fun, magical return. And when I got the call, first of all, from Sharon, my manager and your manager.
That's right.
We share manager, but
we share publicists,
yes.
We share managers.
So I got the call from my publicist, Lewis and Sharon, and they said, Jack, are you sitting down? I was like, oh man, what's about to happen? I didn't know. They're like, you got the call to be on SNL. And I was just like, oh. It was very emotional. Because I had such great memories of doing it all those years ago, decades before. And I didn't think I would ever be asked back not because I didn't have a career and like things are going great, but it felt like a part of a time where, I don't know, Lorne works in mysterious ways. He's got a feeling of like what is going to work best for that show. And it feels like they like to get people that are on the cusp, that are like exploding, popping off in a certain way.
Also, you had done it 4 times.
Yeah, that's true. If you count the musical guest thing.
Right.
Because Tenacious D did go on. That's right. Yeah.
So, maybe it was like we have had you a few times. But I know what you mean. It's a funny club that you watch and you think, you feel like you're part of, even being a cast member, but then you also sometimes always feel a little outside.
Yeah.
Well, you could have been a cast member.
No, I don't think I could. I don't think I could handle it week in and week out.
100% disagree.
Once every 20 years is more my speed for that gig.
But you could have, did you ever audition or want to audition? Because
I did want to audition, but then I didn't audition. I had an idea in mind that I never went and followed through with, but
you had, what do you mean you had an idea?
Well, I don't want to repeat it because now it really sounds stupid in my mind, but my audition was going to be basically, I was going to be a superhero that I created. I don't remember what it was called, but it was like a combination of the Hulk and maybe it was just the Hulk. It was, I was going to come in as the Hulk and just jump around and do like this weird slow motion kind of performance art dance where I would crush things with my foot and then do like a mimed, the earth is cracking. I was not going to get in and I knew that, but I had practiced it in the mirror in my living room a few times, but I never pulled the trigger.
You didn't?
No.
How come? Like, did you get an audition and you just didn't do it, or you like? I'm fascinated by it because also I'm interested in that story because that is a little bit of sabotage.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a part of you that didn't want to be on it.
Well, that's the constant battle is the fear of failure.
Yeah, totally.
And sometimes you're up for the battle and sometimes you're just like, pass.
100%. I wanted to ask you about auditioning because I don't know about you, but I'm not a great auditioner. Yeah. Like I don't really get a lot of jobs from auditions.
Yeah.
I don't think I've gotten many. And I remember I auditioned for the Coen brothers.
Oh, yeah.
And who I love, love their movies. And it was and I just felt like it wasn't going well. I'm sure they have no memory of it, and they had probably no opinion of it.
Yeah.
But I felt like it wasn't going well, and so I started to like kind of sabotage it because it was like basically like you can't reject me. I'm gonna reject you.
I auditioned for the Coen brothers as well, and I also had a similar super shitty audition. It was for the Hudsucker Proxy.
Mine was Burn After Reading.
Okay, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But, I don't remember the specifics of why it was so bad, but I knew when I walked out, I did not get it.
Yeah.
There's sometimes you can feel it.
Oh, yeah.
But I loved auditioning
You
early
did?
on. But that was, in the before times.
You loved
Because
it.
once I got School of Rock, I didn't have to go on auditions anymore. And it took some adjusting. I was like, what? I don't have to audition? But what if I want to audition? But I liked going on auditions. And then if it felt good, like I kicked ass, I didn't even really care if I got the part or not. I was just like high on that buzz.
Yeah.
Because when you connect with a scene,
Yeah.
you get a little charge.
Do you remember any of those?
It's a drug.
Yeah.
Yes. I remember just coming out, dude, probably my first job when I was 13 years old for the commercial I did for a video game called Pitfall for Atari.
Loved Pitfall.
I just went in on that audition. I loved acting. My stepdad drove me around to all the auditions and I had this kind of character who was sort of a cocky character, like, this thing. Even at 13, I could do my eyebrows like this, like, I'm cocky. I think I know what to do. And it looked funny if a 13-year-old did that kind of attitude, the cocky attitude.
Yeah.
And so they said, we did the audition. I wasn't doing that character. I was just last night, I was watching. And they said, can you do it again? And this time, like, do it a little cocky. And in my mind, I was like, oh, they fell into my trap.
You're like,
that's my one move.
100%.
It's like, I can try that. I'll try that. And just last night, it was, whatever. And I remember leaving, and they were laughing, and I was like, oh, that is so heavenly, that feeling. And I've been chasing the dragon ever since, really. Because when you crush an audition,
Ooh.
in a weird way, I like it better than doing the job.
Sure.
Because then the weird thing is, like, sometimes you'll get the part, and you're like, oh, fuck. Now what? And you get to the set, and it's like, no, in the audition, I did it this way. And they're like, forget about the audition, Jack. So what we want you to do is this totally different thing. And then
you're like, but no eyebrows now?
It's a different pressure when you're performing for the thing that a million people will see. The audition, it's just for that room.
Okay, so you started, people might know this about you, but you were doing commercials when you were a kid.
Yep.
How many did you do as a kid?
I was a child actor, I guess you could say. Which is a little embarrassing always.
Why?
Well, because there's a stigma to child actors. Like it's not good for kids to be out there in the industry.
Do you think it is?
It is if they love it, and I loved it. So it was good for me. But yeah, if you get the sense that there's a stage mom or stage dad that's pushing it and the kid doesn't actually want to be there, that's when I can imagine some psychological damage. It's like child labor. It's like, leave them alone.
How old were you when you joined the actors?
The Actors Gang, I was 16 years old. Yeah,
Dang.
I got in there early.
What was the Actors Gang for people that don't know?
So the Actors Gang was like the radical, political, commedia dell'arte, almost like a theater group that got going and popular in the 80s. And it was Tim Robbins and a group of other actors from UCLA who started this company. And if you were a young actor in the 80s and you were checking out the theater scene, they were the Red Hot Chili Peppers. They were just like the Green Berets. They were so rad. And I would go to their shows, their plays. They had a play called Carnage, a comedy that was all about televangelism. And they had another show called Freaks, and it was about circus workers and performers. And I was like just hanging out.
You were like the teen.
Yeah.
In the Actors Gang.
Exactly.
You were like the young teen.
I was the young teen, and I just wanted to be part of that world so much. And they cast me. I got a little part in a show called The Big Show down in Santa Monica. And it was all about the South American Sandinista, like all of the politics surrounding that and American, globalism, a bunch of shit. And then I didn't really get it, but it was super fun. And I brought some songs and I brought some music, and they let me put some songs into the play.
Really? That you had written?
Yeah. Well, just little jingles. The director said, "Hey, we need some little songs here," because it was like a game show, and so I did a little of that, and that's where I met Kyle. And it started off as a little bit of like a rivalry because he was the music guy in the company, and I was coming in with my songs, and But
And you didn't learn guitar till a little bit later, right? You weren't
correct.
playing guitar.
I wasn't playing guitar. I was just recording songs on my 4-track.
Yeah.
Tascam 4-track machine.
Oh man.
But that's how I got in the Actors Gang, and then we ended up going to the Edinburgh Theatre Festival in '89, and then we took that show over to Joe Papp's Public Theater in New York.
Yeah.
And got the worst review I'd ever read. But I thought it was so mean that it turned funny to me. Like I actually kind of liked reading it. I was like, oh, I was just laughing at how mean it was. The slam.
You can take it. Because I guess because it didn't say specific, but I've had things written specifically about me that really hurt my feelings. Like it's really hard for me, embarrassingly so, to even like. I remember when my book came out, there was a really bad review.
I wonder if he listened or if he just read. Because I listened and loved.
Thanks, dude.
Love your book.
Thank you.
You know what? You know what I was specifically interested in was your time at what was the theater company where you learned the improv from the guru of improv?
Del Close. Improv Olympic.
And because I've only heard whispers of this mythical creature named Del Close.
You would have loved him, and you would have share a lot, and he would have loved you. He was this guru, very misanthropic guy. When we were all young upstarts, and we were catching him at the end of his life. But he started back with Elaine May and Mike Nichols and the Compass Players and all that. And he was kind of the one that stayed behind to be the teacher while everyone else became very famous. He just made you feel like you were like that. Improv was its own art form. That it wasn't some step to because. You're bringing up the Actors Gang, and I have to say, like, improv and sketch. There was, when I was in Chicago, there was, like, Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
The Goodman.
Yeah.
And then there were, like, the dumbasses that do sketch.
Yeah.
Like, that was the feeling. Like, we were, like, the makers of Mary over here, and they were, like, the real actors.
Right.
And you started out with, like in the real actors
kind of
category.
But there was some dumb ridiculousn's happening over there too.
Did you ever do Groundlings then?
No, I never did Groundlings, but I did go and enjoy and watch. I watched Maya jam out over there. Maya Rudolph, we went to high school together.
I know.
A lot of people don't know.
Do you remember her in high school? What was she like?
I do remember because I was like the king of the castle, and I was rocking with my improv classes over there. And then she came in, she was like 3 years younger, and she was so good at improv, I actually got intimidated, and then I had a crisis, and I couldn't do improv for like a whole year. It was like, this kid is just a kid, and she's so much better than me. What's happening? I can't.
She got you in your head.
She got in my head.
That makes sense because when Maya talks to me about you, you have a very older brother vibe to her. Like she looks up to you, and also, it is kind of like how old were you when you met everybody? Like you just that'll never change. Like you'll probably always think of Maya as like younger.
Yep.
And she definitely gives you an older brother vibe. Like that's so funny. When did we first meet? Do you remember?
Did we meet before SNL?
Yes, because we did a movie together.
Not before SNL. The movie had to be after SNL. Was it before?
Hold on. Let me check my
Let me tell you what my first memory of you is. I saw you on Conan, and you played Andy Richter's little sister.
Yeah.
And you had those braces on, and I was like, what? Who the hell is that? Because I did not know you, but it was like you were shot out of a cannon. You were so funny and so intense. And your love for Conan was so like white hot. I was like, this person, whoever this is a revelation. And I was obsessed with you. And I talked years later with Mike Schur about it. And I was like, were you obsessed with Amy like I was the first time she was on Conan? He's like, fuck, of course. I was like,
man.
Yeah, you had an effect, I think, on a whole like community of comedians and performers. Like, dude, there's someone new on the stage. You must have felt that like there must be a before and after that Conan appearance.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Conan was huge in the beginning of my career. And and also so many people were watching the same thing back then. Like everybody was watching Conan. Everyone was watching Letterman.
Yes.
Like anyone who was in comedy was watching the same thing at the same time.
That's true.
Yeah. And that, when I would do that Andy's Little Sister thing that Brian Stack wrote, I got a ton of jobs from that. I got my first movie from that.
Yeah.
Adam
You maybe
Sandler.
didn't have to audition for some things. They were like, we want
They
that.
were like, we want you to be weird like that
Yeah.
forever. We want you to yell like that forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those were so fun. But we met, didn't we meet?
You think we met before that?
Okay. I have a terrible memory.
Yeah.
But
me too.
You do?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
could be tough, what we're about
This is
to
gonna
try
be
to do.
tough. I feel like I might have, one of my first famous person that I ever knew was Janine Garofalo. She was like my first famous friend.
Yes.
And Janine's a real connector. And I feel like I might have gone to a party in Los Angeles. And I think you might have been there.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then we did a movie together, which was thrilling.
Yeah.
And that movie was called?
It was, don't tell me. I'm going to get this one. Jingle, jangle, ringle, bungle, dung, 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 vaporize, envy. Whew. Man, I loved working with you on Envy.
Oh my God, we
But
were a couple.
let's be honest, though. Envy, it kind of whiffed. It's like
Not only did it whiff,
connect.
but it opened the same day as Mean Girls. Do you know that?
Oh, yes.
And I remember being like, I'm in 2 movies. like I had not been in a lot of movies, and they were open on the same day. And I remember thinking, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
2 movies, same day. And then one didn't really survive. And for people that don't know this movie, Envy, directed by the great Barry Levinson.
Yes.
Ben Stiller.
Yes.
Rachel Weisz.
Right.
Me.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
You'd think.
I know.
I should explain for maybe the 5 or 6 people that haven't seen
Yes.
Envy that Jack and I play a couple who get like nouveau riche because you invent this way to get rid of dog poo.
Yes.
Where you vaporize it.
Yes.
Vaporize.
Yeah.
And Ben Stiller plays the irritated and then obsessive neighbor
Yes.
who starts to like be overwhelmed by
Yeah.
our success. And I think I've told this story before, but this was an example of I was like, oh, I need to be a better actor. Rachel Weisz, incredible actress, and played like my friend in the movie, Ben's wife, and we were all friends in the movie. I remember she took a ton of notes and she was like writing in her script. And, and I remember thinking, uh-oh, I haven't prepared enough. And at one point she said, I sort of feel like we're best friends. And I thought she was talking about me. And I said, oh. It's like week 2. I said, oh my God, thank you. And she was like, oh, she said, you meant our characters. And I was like, of course.
Oh my God.
Of course, our characters.
Oh.
And I looked back at my script like, yep. I think, let me see what notes I've taken. I did not prep enough. And she was so good. Such a great actress. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But I was inexperienced on that set. I have to say, I didn't really know what I was doing.
Yeah. It was like it was a good learning experience.
And then
I remember at the time I was like, see, you don't have to be stressed. You can just relax and have fun and have good vibes the whole time. And then when it kind of belly flopped, I was like, maybe I do need more stress. Maybe it's not good to be so comfortable and relaxed all the time.
Well, it's kind of like what we were talking about before, though, because I find and hear and know that the way you like to work is very, I appreciate it and I feel similarly. Like, I do think you're supposed to be having fun.
Yeah.
You do a lot of movies where it's like a ton of months, like a long time to shoot, technical movies, like big movies, like how do you, like green screen, you're way away. Like I know you just shot Anaconda in Australia. Like you're like, it's not like 3 weeks, small lighting setup and you're out. It is like
3 months.
3 months. And
tour of duty.
how do you how do you manage that long day?
Well, I kind of like it, the structure of the day, because you got to get your sleep and everything's built around getting all your work done and all the sleep you need, because I need that beauty rest more than ever. And so you compartmentalize the families at home, so you're able to just, in a weird way, it's kind of like a vacation. Even though it's hard work, you don't have all the distractions. You're focused just on this one thing. And I need my at least 1 hour of memorization every night where I just focus on the thing.
You memorize at night?
I do. I memorize the next 3 days worth of, or whatever I've got on the call sheet. The call sheet is my guide.
I love a call sheet.
And they all just give you 3 days ahead of time. So you're like, okay, I'm going to memorize all 3 of these every night, and just keeps you 3 days ahead of the game.
How much sleep do you want to get a night? What's your ideal number?
My ideal number is what they tell you. 8 hours is golden.
Agreed.
But I usually will get 6.
That's not enough.
I know, but I wake up and then I need to do a little bit of New York Times spelling bee, and then I will go back for bonus snoozleberries once I get to Genius. But
do you have? Are you a snorer? Do you snore?
I do. I have a CPAP machine.
Dude, so do I.
Come on, CPAP team unite.
CPAP.
Oh, I love it. Let me tell you something.
Let's talk about our CPAP machines.
My CPAP machine was a game changer.
Changed my life.
And now I can't sleep without it.
Never want to.
Well, I can take a nap, like I took a nap at SNL.
Yeah.
But to do that, I have to go kind of like Elephant Man, where I get so many pillows that I'm almost sitting up. But it's the only way, because if I lay down flat, I might die. I don't know. I wake up with like horrible headaches and nightmares.
And the driest
wake
mouth.
up before you die, nightmare.
I wish we could bring out our sleep things, or our CPAPs
I know,
right
that would
now.
be funny to look at us.
I know. I put mine in a movie in Wine Country. I used my CPAP.
Oh, nice.
Because I wanted to make sure I never got laid again, so I put it in my
That was a thing. It was a thing when I first started doing it, because it takes a little while to get used to, a few days.
And how about your partner?
It's
you have to be like,
you're not going to sleep
"Sorry,
on your
dude."
belly anymore. You liked that? Well, that's gone.
Yeah.
So, you got to figure out, okay, I'm going to sleep on my side like this, and then I can sleep on my back, and just don't go on your belly. And then it was like, is it possible to have sex while wearing your CPAP machine?
Yeah,
but why would you? Just take it off and have sex and then put it back on.
But think about this. You've been married for a long time. When you're not married, you're like, I got something to tell you.
Is this a turn off or a turn on that you have this Darth Vader?
Right before I go to sleep, I got to tell you something. And you're going to hear it first. That's love. That's love.
I mean, some people have the Darth Vader kink. They want that mask. Mask on, mask off.
Mask off.
Your choice, babe.
Your choice, babe. Air coming in, air coming out. Mouth tape? No. Butt tape? Yes. Tape up that butt. Whatever you want.
Oh, butt tape.
Butt tape. Wait, Jack, can I talk to you about the Kelly Clarkson Tanner moment? I texted you. I loved that moment so much. For those people who don't know.
Yes.
You were doing Kelly Clarkson. Tanner from Love on the Spectrum, amazing show. You're a fan of that show.
Love it.
He's a fan of you.
Love him, particularly.
Love him. He talked about wanting to meet you, and then you ran out and greeted him. And
well, this all started years ago because my sons loved Love on the Spectrum. And I was like, oh, good. This is our show.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm always looking for ways to connect with my boys who just don't want anything to do with me. Because once they hit that age, that 16, 18, it's like the least thing you want to do is hang out with your parents. Yeah. And anything I like, they're automatically, well, then I hate it. But they liked the show. And I was like, I want to watch it with you guys. And we watched it and we loved that show and loved Tanner. And I got a call from Lewis, our publicist, who was like, hey, Kelly Clarkson is asking if you'll do a video for Tanner from Love on the Spectrum, who loves you. I was like, what? He loves me? Yes, I want to do a video. So I made a video for Tanner, just telling him how much we love the show and how great he is. And I love his philosophy of life. Is like his whole life is, his mission is to bring smiles and joy around the world. It's like, we need more Tanners. And I sent that over, and they showed it, and he saw it on the Kelly Clarkson show, and was like, oh, my God, it's Jack Black. He knows me and my name. And so we didn't meet. We just had that one connection through Kelly Clarkson. And then I got the call saying, hey, he's going to be here at the same time you're here promoting Minecraft. Will you do a surprise run out to him? And I was like, yeah, this sounds really great, because it was, it was long overdue that we meet in person. And so they had that idea that I thought was really funny where it looks like I did a pre-tape.
So good.
And I was like, I'm sorry I couldn't be there. I'm on the road promoting Minecraft, but just want to tell you that I just think you're amazing. But I also have superpowers, Kung Fu Panda, like ninja moves, which means I can come through the doors right now. And I come running in. And I thought it was so funny that I was like, that's going to be funny because it's a good reveal. And I was like, I hope that it's a surprise and that no one tells him. And when I came through, I wasn't prepared for how emotional.
It was really emotional.
I almost started crying.
Jack, I started
we were
crying.
hugging. There was so much love.
No, I know.
And
I know. It was so sweet.
yeah, and it was like, when he asked me for my phone number, and
did you give it to him?
I gave a contact. There's a way for us to communicate now.
Very good.
But to be continued. I gotta get with him. We have a plan to do some workouts. He's going to show me some techniques for bodybuilding.
It's so good. And also, okay, so this leads us to, in many ways, to what you're working on now, which, by the way, congrats on this monster movie.
Thank you.
My kids have seen it twice.
Really? Oh, I love that.
They love it. They're right in the sweet spot. They're 14 and 16, and they grew up with Minecraft, and they love it.
It just goes to show. I had a blast making it. I love Jared. We'd work together on Nacho Libre. But while I'm making it, I feel the same as like Envy, and this could be another Vaporize. We might get Vaporized and no one goes to see the movie. You just don't know.
Yeah.
You go out there, you do the best you can, you let the chips fall where they may, and this time it feels like we rolled a Yahtzee.
100%.
And it's like, holy shit, are you kidding me?
You're
There's
the
people
biggest,
going
you're the
ape shit
biggest
out
movie
there.
star. Jack Black.
Gotta bask in it. Just
Jack
enjoy it right now.
Let's just raise the roof.
Oh, that sunshine.
You're the biggest fucking movie star in the world. You are in so many hits, Jack! Hit after hit after hit! Have you heard of Jumanji? Have you heard of School of Rock? Have you heard of Mario?
Nuts.
Have you heard of Minecraft? Kung Fu Panda!
Kung Fu Panda.
Incredible! Dude.
I know.
It's awesome.
It's nutty.
Oh my God. And that movie looks so like I gotta tell you that Minecraft, if I just may, was so huge in my house, especially during COVID.
Yeah.
Because you have boys, I have boys.
Yeah.
Building was like their way. They really, that's how they got through the pandemic, is I'm gonna go build something.
The crafting.
Yes.
And the mining. This is like Legos for a new generation.
Yeah.
And the music in it is so meditative. And there's some architecture in there where I think there's benefits to it. We're going to see a whole new generation of architects making crazy looking buildings.
Yeah.
Because their brains are exercised hundreds of hours on making structures. Even though it's in the virtual world. But there was also an element of Jared wanting us to look ridiculous. Because my costume is so form-fitting and really was just very revealing of my shape. My pear-shaped, that I'm... Like right now I'm wearing this stuff. This is all to distract you from my shape. I like a XXL t-shirt with so much crazy.
I've heard you have a t-shirt collection.
I do. Well, this is mostly what it is. It's tie-dye explosions, and it kind of draws your eye away from my shape. But this costume, it was just like a tight sweater shirt. And then Jason Momoa with that ridiculous mullet and like a pink leather jacket with fringe. He looks so ridiculous. That's part of the charm, though.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not here to look pretty. We're here to make some funny ridiculousness happen.
I will say, I know I get a little stressed on set when I'm tight, when I have tight things around my shape.
Yes.
Did you have to get used to that?
I felt fine because it was tight, but it was stretchy.
Yeah.
So I was never restricted in
the
movement.
feeling is
And that's my main thing is I'm always able to get real physical.
I know, you're so physical. So we do this thing on our show where we have people talk about the guest before they come on. So I get somebody to come on in the beginning. So we got Nora. Aquafina
in the house.
And Nora and I were talking before you came in just about you and what she thinks I should ask you. And she mentioned a bunch of things, and we just talked a lot about your physicality, like how much you like to move, how funny it is, how cool it is to be around. And she was saying when you guys were doing press that like you were doing a lot of kicks.
Yeah. When in doubt, kick it out. I was doing we called them chop kicks.
Chop kicks, that's right.
Because it's like chopsticks, but chop kicks. And that was also along the lines of, I refuse to let these junket interviews get boring. I'm going to go nuts if need be. If I ever feel like we're going down a road, the chop kicks will come out. There'll be a flurry.
You love to do that, especially like on a red carpet. Like I really admire it. You take over. Like you take over that thing. So it's your fun time and like people are invited to it. It's not the other way around. Like you have a really good time promoting stuff. You refuse to have it be boring for you.
If I'm in the zone. Yeah.
Like when you recorded that for Mario, when you recorded the Britney song on the red carpet.
Kung Fu Panda.
Excuse me.
The last Kung Fu Panda,
when you recorded Kung Fu Panda.
Yes.
You recorded a video on the red carpet during the premiere.
So our director of Kung Fu Panda 4 said, hey, I really want a Tenacious D song in the movie. Like, could you guys do a cover? I was like, well, it depends. Like, what do you think? And he was like, Pat Benatar, Hit Me With Your Best Shot. And I was like, I love Pat Benatar, but that doesn't feel right. And then it was actually Sharon, our manager, who was like, you should do Britney Spears. And I was like, whoa, Britney Spears. Wait a second. That's ringing some bells. And then I said, Hit Me Baby One More Time is the one. Hit Me Baby One More Time because it's Kung Fu Panda hitting me one more time. And we bounced that off the director, Mike Mitchell, and he was like, yes, do it. And so I called Kyle and we went and we laid down the hot tracks. And it just so happened that our bass player, who also does all the producing of all the Tenacious D albums, is obsessed with Britney Spears. So I was like, this is falling into place.
Yes.
And he laid down a bed that was a little faster than Britney's version, so it had a little more paprika, because you don't want to just come and just do exactly what they did. You want to put a little different spin on it. Mm-hmm. And I got so into this one part that's really hard vocally, and I did it probably like 100 times, and I would come back on different days like, it's still not there, which is like, give me a sign. She does this little vocal, digga, and it's like a little trill. It's a little up and down, like one of these. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really have it. And we kept on working it. And then I got it one day. And that's all you need. You just need to capture the lightning in the bottle one time. And I was like, put it in. And he put it in. I was like, I was very proud of that Britney Spears cover.
So good. Jack, you are my favorite singer. Your voice is incredible. Everything you sing is so good. Peaches is my favorite song. It's like should be everyone's wedding song.
Peaches.
And every Tenacious D song, every song you cover, every song you sing, I got to sing with you once. We sang The Rose. Remember we sang The Rose?
Which
for
was
Festival
fantastic.
Supreme.
I had a festival, for those of you who don't know. It was a comedy music festival. We did it for 4 years, and I thought, this is going to be the fucking Coachella of comedy music. And it was not. Every year, less people came. I was like, what is wrong with the world that this is not getting bigger every year? And then finally we quit doing it. But I stand by it. It was the best festival.
It was the best.
And you were so beautiful to say, yeah, I'll do it.
Of course.
You answered the call. I didn't know if you'd be avails. But you came down and you said, I'll do it, but I want you to come out and sing with me, Jack. I was like, done.
A dream.
What are we singing?
God, I love singing with you. I love your voice. And we rehearsed, and there was the great.
That was John Spiker. We rehearsed. Yes, he's a sweetheart.
Awesome. And I was kind of geeking out a little bit. I had to play it really cool because I love your voice and love singing with you. But like, do you ever feel?
Should we do a little right now?
Of The Rose?
Can't remember it, but I think what key is it
in? Hold on. Okay.
I'm not going to get any of those lyrics right, by the way.
Some say love.
Did we harmonize?
It is. Yeah, it was.
Flower that needs a tender care. Some say love. It is a rainbow that never doodle day. I remembered not one word, or the melody, or the harmony.
I understood it, Jack. Oh,
we're still getting applause, though.
Applause. Wait, Jack, do you hear that? Do you hear that, Jack? Someone's clapping for us.
But on the day when we did it at Festival Supreme,
So good. You can see it online. You can see it online.
See it online the way it was meant to be. We just needed one more rehearsrsal here before we did this.
The lyrics are a little stressful because lyrics in general are stressful when they repeat, but they're just they're the same, but not the same. Like weed and leaf, or like love and light, whatever.
I gotta really know those lyrics.
Do you use a prompter when you perform lyrics?
Not with Tenacious D, but but I have used it. I mean, because those songs I wrote those songs, so I feel. I feel them in my blood, and we do have rehearsals. We go and we work it all out, and that's my memory gymnasium. But these songs that other people wrote, especially when the lyrics don't really tell a story, it's easier when you tell a story that's linear.
Yes,
some of those words are just fucking gobbledygook.
Like, I mean, there's nobody better than Elton John, but Bernie's lyrics sometimes I'm like, wow.
No kidding.
What's going on?
But Take Me to the Pilot is one of my favorite songs of all time, but I have no idea what it's about. Or even like, what is arguably the greatest rock and roll song ever written, Stairway to Heaven. Mm-hmm. If there's a hustle in your hedgerow, don't be a lawman.
He says, don't be alarmed, man.
Oh, is that what it is?
I thought it was don't be alarmed now.
You're probably right. It's just a spring clean for the May Queen. I contend Robert Plant doesn't know what that song's about. Nobody knows what that's about. And it doesn't matter.
And every time I hear that song, I get a feeling I'm in an 8th grade gym.
Yeah.
That song's coming on, and I'm like, I got to dance with whoever I dance with. It's gonna be like 9 minutes of dancing with them. It's like you're just panic of like, I gotta find a boy, and it's gonna go slow and then fast and then slow again. Like it's asking a lot. I remember dancing, school dances, Stairway to Heaven came on, and the feeling of this is gonna be 10 minutes of my life. I can't choose wrong, and I.
Just the idea of dancing to Stairway to Heaven is so funny to me. Because it's like, is it slow dancing?
You had to start slow. And
what do you do when it starts rocking really hard, though?
Then you separate. You go, one on down the road.
Air guitar?
You play your leg like an air guitar.
Is it weird? When I dance, I like to close my eyes because I feel less inhibitions.
Yeah.
I get a little self-conscious on the dance floor.
You do?
Well, I like to dance. Here's what I'm nervous about. Eye contact on the dance floor.
Yeah, but what if you point? But if you point, you're good. You go, hey.
I guess I immediately start feeling like, is the dance partner uncomfortable with my eye contact? And also, how do I fit into this? Do they think I'm dancing well? There's just something. I think I prefer to dance alone.
With no one around?
Well, if I'm going to go dance, and maybe I'd like to have like a half-hour warm-up by myself and then like go right into the dance party. Yeah, I'm all like getting warmed up now.
Like walking and going, hey! Shit. Right, but you don't want to be...
It's like right now, this feels good, but it probably looks bad.
No, it looks great. But I know what you mean. Right, and the eye contact is a little weird because maybe it's weird. It's different for a guy, but... I know what you mean. You have to kind of like be like, hey, but not keep on there too long.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just have to go, Jack. But you can't, if I stay any longer than that, it's weird. Because then the person feels like they have to point back you and dance with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
But when you're dancing, I feel like you're feeling it. You're letting the feeling of the dance, the music is moving you.
Yeah. And I like closing my eyes too.
I think I do some of that when I can break out of my self-conscious. But a lot of the time, I think I'm dancing like I'm putting on a show, which can be stressful for me and anyone I'm dancing with. Okay,
but this is really interesting because you're such a physical person and you're very, very comfortable physically.
Yeah.
But I bet you feel pressure when you dance to dance funny.
Yes.
I don't.
Oh.
I don't. I take that pressure away.
That's why you're good.
Because no one expects that. Everyone expects, and you are a good dancer, so you could just be dancing and not have to feel like you have to perform while you're dancing, like dance for yourself.
Like the way that you dance now.
Yeah.
No one taught you to do that. You just do it.
Right.
Right. Because I was just thinking maybe you can teach me how to dance.
I
but
would
then I was
love
like,
to.
That's not how it works, Jack.
Have you seen Footloose?
Amy's not going to teach you how to dance.
Have you seen Footloose? That's exactly how it works. He teaches them to dance.
Will you be my Kevin Bacon?
Remember that when he's like, come on, man.
I remember it was like illegal to dance in that town.
Oh.
That's the best part.
We have a few more things before we finish. So Nora asked about the chop kicks. She also asked me to ask you about Gallagher too.
I can't believe she asked you to tell. Here's a confession, okay? I had never laughed harder than when I first saw Gallagher on television in 1974, 1975. I was just like 5 or 6 years old, maybe 7. And he was on a show called Laugh-In, which was a game show which was just random audience members on stage and then these professional comedians who would make them laugh. That was the whole point of the game, and you had to not laugh.
Wait, that was not Laugh-In.
Okay, you're right, not Laugh-In.
It was Make Me Laugh. I remember Make Me Laugh.
Make Me Laugh. And I remember seeing Gallagher, and he did the funniest shit. Yes, he was exploding pumpkins or watermelons, but he also did this one where he came out and he was just like, you vegetarian? He had a banana. You vegetarian? And the person who was the contestant was like, no. And he was like, me neither. And he peeled off the banana and there was a hot dog inside and he took a bite. And I fucking laughed and cried and it hurt me. I was like, this is the genius. This is who I want to be. I want to be Gallagher. And then, over the years and the decades go by and you have different heroes. And I was like, yeah, he kind of faded in the past. But I always remembered. No one made me laugh harder than that when I was 6 years old. And then I heard like the saga.
Amazing.
The drama. A friend of mine wanted to make a documentary about his life because mainly of his drama that he had with his brother, who he taught all of his moves to. He's like, look, we're going to franchise this. You're going to do what I teach you to do, and then you'll go out as Gallagher too. And his brother was like, yeah, teach me your ways. I'll do it. And then over the course of the years of them doing this, he and his brother kind of had a falling out, and they didn't. And Gallagher was like, you know what? We're done. You're not Gallagher 2 anymore. I'm pulling the plug on that. And then Gallagher 2 was like, I choose not to stop. I am Gallagher. In fact, yeah, maybe I'm Gallagher 1. Maybe you're Gallagher 2. And the manager, Gallagher's manager, sided with the brother for some reason.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
And it got litigious and it got fucking weird. And I just thought, this is Shakespearean, this.
Mm-hmm.
And then the manager also, he had a kid in the neighborhood who would come over all the time. He was like, you manage Gallagher? That's the coolest thing ever. I want to be a comedian someday too and be like Gallagher. And then the manager was like, tell you what, kid, I'll teach you everything that Gallagher done. And he taught him all the things. And that kid grew up to be Carrot Top.
No!
I'm not joking! This is an epic movie.
The fact that little Carrot Top is the heir apparent to those,
believe it?
and that Gallagher 2, the moment when Gallagher 2 says, maybe I'm Gallagher 1, is like...
Incredible.
Yeah, it's like Game of Thrones or something. Or yes.
It's very dramatic and entertaining and compelling.
You got to do that movie.
You got to have it. You kind of have to have the sign off on the all parties involved to really do that. Otherwise, I think it gets. You don't want that kind of anger and bad mojo on your project.
You don't want the
People
House
that
of
don't
Gallagher
want you
coming
to tell
down.
That. Yes.
No, you don't want that. Okay, 2 last things. Do you remember Boys Night Out?
Yes.
Do you remember
the sketch that didn't make it on SNL when I was there with you?
Yes, Emily Spivey and I wrote a sketch called Boys Night Out, and it was Jack waiting for the boys to arrive, and they never showed up, and just kept ordering more wings. But there was a song. Do you remember the song to it?
Boys Night Out, Boys Night Out. Now we're really rocking, and the chicks are all squawking because I'm talking about a Boys Night Out. You never forget a song like that.
Thank you so much. That's all I needed to hear. Okay, and then the last thing I've been asking my guests is, what do you do? What do you watch, go to? What song, what video, what comedy clip, what old show? What's your comfort? What do you do when you're not working and when you want to just like peace out and chill out? Where do you go?
I have recently, can I say 3 different things?
Absolutely.
One thing, I realized I stopped listening to music. I was only listening to podcasts and audiobooks, and I was like, I gotta get music back in my life, stat. And so I did this thing called Chrono marathons, where you pick a band that you love, and then you've never done this before to that band. So you start at the very first album and you go chronologically through their whole catalog. It's a great way to get in the nooks and crannies. And there's probably some bonus tracks that you never listened to. Listen to all of it, even the shitty songs, because then you find these. It's just an interesting way to hear music. I had never done it before, and I swear by it.
Who have you done?
Well, it's going to sound boring.
No.
But I went to the ones that were like the ones, I did Pink Floyd, I did the Rolling Stones, I did the Beatles, I did Led Zeppelin, I did Elton John most recently. It just, all these great, musicians and people that you're like, I bet you there's some songs that I've never even heard that they wrote.
And you go in complete order.
I've heard all of them now. And I like to do a little star on the ones that are my extra specials. And the most fun part is going, oh, this album is when they fucking hit their stride. And you go, they got this window here. There's usually like a 4 or 5 year window where their best shit went down.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why then? And it's also like, oh yeah, I love this band in this window. 1978, Steely Dan, But anyway.
Oh, love that. That's amazing.
That's so fun.
That's great.
I also like to get my steps. I walk around the neighborhood.
You love your steps.
I do. It's all about the steps for me.
So how many steps a day do you try to get?
I like to get somewhere between 10 and 20.
Great.
If I got 20 every day, I think I could eat whatever I want.
20,000 steps is hard to get.
It's hard to get there.
Especially
I
in
also
LA.
really love to watch old movies. Yeah, it's a new thing. I've entered my cinephile phase of my life.
Where do you watch your old movie?
I watch it at home.
On TV.
On TV. I've got a nice juicy television screen.
Yeah.
And I like to be guided by people that really know great cinema. For instance, I read this book, Cinema Speculation, by Quentin Tarantino, and he just talks about the movies that shaped him and that he loves. And I will listen to a chapter where he just focuses on one movie, like Rolling Thunder or whatever the case may. He likes a lot of westerns, and then I'll watch the movie that he was talking about, and then I'll go back and listen to the chapter again, like a kookaburra. It's kind of like going to school.
That's what I say. Like you're creating a little school for yourself.
I'm creating a school that I would want to go to. Actual school, I fall asleep. But this when I curate my own school, it's really fun.
Oh my God, Jack, I love you so much.
I love you,
Thank
Amy.
you for doing this.
Are you
this
kidding
was
me?
so fun. I think I asked you everything I needed to ask you. I mean, I love you. I hope we get to see each other more.
The feeling's mutual.
You're the best. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for doing this. What do I say about the great Jack Black? He's just the best. And I'm so grateful that he came by. I love him so much. So does America. So does the world. And, we always like to end these episodes with a little polar plunge. We'd like to go in a little bit deeper, jump in somewhere that we maybe talked about earlier in the interview. And so I just want to remind everybody to listen to the song Peaches from the Super Mario movie that Jack Black, I'm assuming, wrote. I didn't check it out. I'm sure him and other people wrote that song, maybe just himself. His performance in Peaches is, like most of his vocal performances, exquisite. And I would say that to me, it is the most romantic song I've heard in the past 10 years, and it should be everybody's wedding song.
Peaches, 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 peaches. Oh, yeah.
Stop this podcast, listen to Peaches, listen to it over and over again, learn the words, sing it to someone when you propose to them. I promise they will say yes. Okay, that's been another episode of Good Hang. Thanks for checking us out. See you soon. Bye. You've been listening to Good Hang. The executive producers for this show are Bill Simmons, Jenna Weiss-Berman, and me, Amy Poehler. The show is produced by The Ringer and Paper Kite. For The Ringer, production by Jack Wilson, Kat Spillane, Kaya McMullen, and Aleya Zenieris. For Paper Kite, Production by Sam Green, Joel Lovell, and Jenna Weiss-Berman. Original music by Amy Miles.